She Slayers, and welcome to another episode of She Slays the Day podcast. I am your host, Dr. Lauren Brunslick.
And I am your co-host, not Dr. Kirby Brunslick.
And you are on here 2 episodes in a row.
No, not in a row. Didn't you do?
No.
Oh, yeah, because it was a date night last week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sneaking my way in.
Yeah.
I'm going to take this thing over.
Yeah. Yeah, this co-host thing is becoming a little more frequent than originally planned.
It's all part of my plan.
Yeah.
Cut to a year from now, and it's just me talking about meditation and philosophy the entire time.
Right. Well, anyways, we said last week that we were going to be lazy and do a reprise. Is that what it's called?
Throwback?
I thought it was a reprise.
Sure. Yeah, we're
reprising the throwback.
We're phoning it in and having you listen to an episode from what I think it's good that we're using an episode from a couple years ago because the listenership has grown so much. And as much as I would love to believe they went back to number 51 and listened straight from there, or even better,
100 episodes.
This is 187, and the episode count doesn't count the midweek bonus episodes and stuff that we've done through the years. So I'm guessing we're closer to like 195 to 200.
So many episodes. It just keeps going forever.
And ever and ever. It's cool though. Like you have an interesting body of work, and
I thought you were just going to leave it at body.
You have an interesting body. Take that as you will. No, you have a big body of work that is something that, a lot of people have learned and grown and talked to a lot of amazing people in their life, but so few people have it on record. Like that's cool to be able to go back and listen to yourself from years ago. And
I would literally never do that.
I know you wouldn't, but maybe when you're old.
I don't think so. Oh my God.
Maybe
I think it would be painful to go like, okay, Kirby, I just found it. I found actual recordings of you talking to girls in bars at 21 years old. Do you want to watch that shit?
Well, I wouldn't watch that. It's not. How is that the same thing? You sharing your knowledge and talking about what you've learned and trying to help people. If you had a recording of me having a discussion on something I'm interested in, like business, philosophy, religion.
You'd want to listen to
20s,
your
I would
20-year-old self talk about politics?
Yeah. I would be interested to see how I've changed and grown.
Nope, not me. It's too shameful. I prefer only growth mindset going forward.
It's a recurring theme with you. You just never want to revisit the past.
Never. Nope. So we are stuck here doing an intro though, even though we were phoning it in.
Well, you have to do a different intro. When this episode originally aired, it was 2020. So I just listened to it. There was a lot about what was going on then. There was a lot about different stuff that we were offering at the time.
What were we offering?
Reels course. So there's a full 5-minute segment on the Reels course.
The $37 program that should have been $370 program.
We had such good production value on that. I remember wanting to do such a good job. Shot it really professionally. I edited the crap out of that. We shot you from 3 angles, and I had cuts every 5 to 7 seconds. That was an editing job.
Here was the main problem. Social media is not evergreen. So for those of you who are wanting to make a program, thinking about whether you will have to update it and reshoot it and edit it every 6 months as Instagram makes changes, this is something to think about. So you can do it, but you might not want to put so much work into editing because
also you want to consider your subject. And if your subject is someone who likes to change their hairstyle every 6 months, that can cause you real headaches if it's the next year.
Real headaches.
And you go, yeah, let's just reshoot that one scene because that one button changed. Also, your hair grew 19 inches and changed colors. So I don't know what to do about that.
Anyways, yeah. So we were selling a Reels course. So don't get all excited. It's not available. Are you going to cut the intro?
Yeah, I'm going to have Jacob cut the intro.
Oh, okay. So you will have to go back to episode 50 if you want to hear the original.
No, that's not. It was episode 80 something. But I'm saying people don't go back to.
You're fucking with my intro here. Come on. Jeez Louise. ways. This year we are selling something though. Maybe we are, maybe
If
we're
there's
not.
any spots left,
We
it's
literally
been, the
don't know.
response has been amazing.
So it is Tuesday that we're recording for this episode, releasing Sunday, and we might be full for the Multipassionate Chiropreneur Program. We're technically selling spots until the middle of January, but we bumped it from 20 to 24. That's because I messed up. So part of the program is some small group strategy work every week. And I realized once we had sold 19 that like 2 groups of 10 seemed big.
Yeah. Especially if you need help and you need to bounce ideas off of each other, that gets to be an unwieldy group.
Yeah. And I want everyone to feel like in that strategy call that they got to bring up the obstacles that were, in implementing that program into their life. And so then I'm like, well, shoot, now we have 19. So now we need to have 3 groups, and 7 to 8 is the perfect sweet spot. 6 is a little small. So now we have availability for 24. But in the future, we may be already done. I don't know. It's hard to tell. We're at 21 right now.
Yep. So check the Instagram, right? It's in we'll have a link in the show notes, but also if you just follow She Slays on Instagram, then click the link there, get on a call with Lauren. And
yeah, I've had over 40 calls now, and I have honestly told half of them that I did not think it was a good fit. And that's why I really like doing the calls. I would love to not do the calls. I would love to, in a idealistic world, just not have to do them. But it's
so
really
essential.
rewarding.
Yeah.
Because I then am really excited about the people who are, and then like the people who aren't, I'm really excited that they didn't waste their money.
Yeah, that would have been the worst if someone would have signed up and then got into it and either didn't like your style or didn't need the program or wasn't ready for the program.
There are some people though that like I get on the call and I know they listen to the show, and I'm like, do you like me? Like, there's no way that we would be friends in real life. I would drive you insane. Like, some people are just a little more like analytical. And like, this is for all, you can still be analytical and love me. But like in my mind, it is very obvious when you are this like ball of energy and like somebody you're talking to is just like, I'm just processing every part of you. Okay. And I was like, am I annoying? Am I annoying you right now? I'm totally annoying you, aren't I?
And not that you guys are the same person, but it kind of reminds me of Tony too, of like how he is so knowledgeable, but also in his speech pattern and stuff, a little bit scatterbrained and a little bit like...
Tony and I get each other.
Oh, I know you do, but I'm saying it's the same kind of thing of like, if you're super like, show me step A, then step A1, then A2, then we'll move to B, but reference A. Like if you are listening to a Tony speech, it's kind of just everywhere.
We are passionate and feelers. Did you bring up Tony as like a smooth segue into PX sponsoring? And I just blew your cover.
Yeah, it was a good segue.
It was a really good segue. Speaking of Tony, here, we'll just edit that part out.
No, Jacob, you don't have to do that.
Speaking of Tony, thank you to the Pediatric Experience for making this show possible. I will not bring up OnlyFans this week. Although I did get it. He listens to every episode.
Does he really?
Yes, he does.
Tony.
And like quickly. Like I will get harassed by him midday on Sunday if I put my foot in my mouth or made a fool of myself. And apparently talking about OnlyFans when you're trying to recommend or talk about one of your sponsors is not kosher.
Well, did you tell him that Sked sent us a gift?
I didn't tell him that Sked sent me a bottle of wine.
Some of our sponsors appreciate us, Tony.
Anyways, if you love the idea of serving more kids in clinic and you miss being a part of a community, because a lot of times in chiropractic, we can feel very isolated. And even as a chiropractor in a town, there are no other pediatric chiropractors around me. And so sometimes I feel like I'm going crazy. So I am a part of the Pediatric Experience community. I love their content. It is probably the best deal within chiropractic. So,
and it's just good for like the ongoing through the year. There's always stuff. It just keeps you on top of your game.
Much content. So much. So We'll
All
have
right.
that link below, I guess.
Yeah. We'll include that in show notes.
Okay. So we have a slight update to our Christmas list. You want to do that, or you want to do the listener highlight? What do you want to do?
Let's do listener highlight quick, and then we'll go to that.
Okay. This is from Jana King 12 on Apple Podcasts. And it says, unafraid, real, and raw. Raw. That is the word I get used a lot. And I
Mhm.
don't know whether to take it as a compliment.
Take it as a compliment.
Well, I can.
Yeah.
I know they mean it as one, but like I get in my head and then my like self-doubt and imposter syndrome starts
There's
going.
enough polished people out
And
there.
I'm like,
the world does not need
"Ah."
another perfectly polished person.
Right. I know. Okay. Anyways, unafraid, real, and raw. And I mean it as a compliment. She didn't write that, but she meant that. I find myself listening to Dr. Lauren on those especially hard days, today being one of those days, dealing with stuff unrelated to chiropractic. She has this way of speaking to my needs no matter which episode I listen to. I appreciate that she says what she is feeling and unafraid to say what probably most of us are thinking. I love that she keeps it real and raw. Oh, okay.
That's awesome. Well, now I'm a little worried about Jana.
Well, I know. I was
What's
thinking
going
the same
on?
thing. Like, I'll
Should-
find her on Instagram. I'll find her on the gram. Jana, you okay?
Yeah.
This
We
is
can-
not in chiropractic.
We can talk about stuff
We-
unrelated to chiropractic. We're here to help.
We know that there's a shitstorm inside of chiropractic if you're in chiropractic. So outside, it just keeps adding up.
Mm-hmm.
Just keeps on adding. So, okay. Well, don't worry, people. I'm going to find Jana, if that's her real name, and say, thank you. But are you okay?
You're gonna have to
Would
go
you
through
like to
the
get
other.
coffee?
You're gonna have to go through the other 11 Jana Kings before you find her.
Oh, because she's Jana King 12. Are you the Jana King?
Are you my Jana King?
Jana, if you want to come to Rice Lake and have coffee, we can do that. Poor Jana just like probably was constipated that day and was like, dude, I didn't mean to make it a big thing. God damn it. Why don't we get more reviews? It's weird. Like do we roast our reviewers unintentionally?
We make fun of their names. We dig into their personal issues.
We do, but we care.
We care. I don't think anyone would say we don't care. So send us your review and we will dissect it.
We will analyze everything about it. And if you're wondering if this is what Kirby and I do elsewhere in our life, the answer is yes.
Mhm. It's like
Luckily,
this all the time.
oh my God, I am a verbal processor. This is why having a podcast works really well. And we're 12 minutes into what should be a 5-minute intro. But
It's
Kirby
actually
just
okay.
listens.
The body of the episode is actually shorter than some of our other episodes. So long intro, no problem.
Oh, I don't want to like drag it out for.
No, but we
People
got
don't.
some stuff to
Okay.
still
Okay. Well, let's
discuss.
get to our stuff then.
Okay, so this episode is our 5 favorite Christmas movies. And at first we were like, oh, do we need to update it with movies that have come out in the past couple years? But when I looked them up, nothing would crack my top 5. So there was 8-Bit Christmas, Jingle Jangle, A Christmas Story Christmas, that was this year, A Boy Called Christmas, Spirited, that's the Will Ferrell, Ryan Reynolds one that came out this year. And I included this, but it doesn't really need to be included because it's the series, is the Santa Clauses, the new.
Yeah.
So none of those cracked top 5. I did like Spirited though, and the girls really liked
Spirited. And it was interesting. Like I
Mhm.
feel like halfway through, I was like, "What the hell is this movie?" But I liked it.
Yeah, it was fun. I was nervous watching it with the girls because there is some strong allusions to sexual content, but
Oh my gosh, we have a 10-year-old, and I don't know what she knows.
I don't either.
We're not going to talk about it right now because we don't know if she listens.
Yeah.
But like, Charlie, if you're listening, Mom and Dad are going to sit you down. We need to have a talk. Okay.
Sounds so formal. Okay, so as kind of an intro to this one, we covered Christmas movies last time, but let's do kind of a rundown of some Christmas favorites.
Okay.
What is your single favorite Christmas song?
Oh, okay. I know this. Ooh, it's split. I have 2. And
Okay.
you have to let me have 2 because it's my podcast and I make the rules. They're both actually Christian songs.
Okay.
The bells on Christmas morning. I heard the bells on Christmas morning.
Like the old one?
No, by Casting Crowns.
Okay.
Oh, it's good. Oh my gosh, it just makes you want to cry. And then Lauren Daigle. See, this isn't fair. You didn't tell me, and I'm bad with names. Lauren Daigle's. Oh, okay. You say yours. I'll pull up the name.
My single favorite is Oh Holy Night.
Bye.
I like the Canadian tenors version.
How cliche.
If I had to pick a album, I think it would be Home for the Holidays by Anthony Hamilton. That was released a few years ago, but that's a solid one. Like there's some really good songs on there.
You know what sucks is I was really hoping you were gonna pick Carol of the Bells, so it was in here somewhere.
Oh, like the instrument.
Yeah,
Ding, ding,
yeah,
ding,
just
ding.
like yeah, exactly. Because so it's I heard the bells on Christmas Day, not
Okay.
Christmas morning, by Casting Crowns. No, it is, and like the one from Home Alone, like that, just classic.
Yep.
Yeah, that is okay. Light of the World by
Light of the
Lauren
World.
Daigle.
Okay.
Those are my two, and they're beautiful.
I like it. All right. How about your favorite Christmas drink?
Vouv.
That's not a Christmas drink.
All right, put some
Put a
cranberries
cranberry in there?
put a sprig of rosemary. Okay, well then I would say a Tom and Jerry.
Okay.
Are Tom and Jerry's a national thing? Do people know what they are?
You know what's really funny? I think this is gonna be new to this episode, but I think we had this conversation in the last one of this,
Oh, no.
where you asked if it was regional. I said I think, but I haven't gone back and researched it. But I'm guessing at least the fact that we put brandy in it, since like brandy is the state drink of Wisconsin, I think that might be regional at least.
How do you handle Tom and Jerry's with your egg thing?
Once again, a thing we discussed on the last intro. Yeah, I have a mild egg allergy. Usually one I'm okay, but I would not have several.
I mean, there's a lot of sugar. I wouldn't have several anyways. But
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
What's your favorite drink?
I am playing around with one that I'm perfecting, but I had one the other day that I liked.
I love that you have this like secret life that I don't even know. When are you doing this?
I had one the other day. You wanted something simple, and I made this. I think your mom or Kendra were here, and we were all having different things. And so it's like a Christmas Aperol spritz. Mm-hmm. So it's like a shot of Aperol, some like cranberry. There is. There's like some cranberry. If you have like just cranberry, canned cranberry, you can put it in there and mix it in. And then sparkling wine. So Vouv. And then if you want
Is Vouv actually champagne though?
It might
you might
be.
actually be allowed. I actually don't know, but you might be allowed to call it champagne now.
I'm gonna just do the opposite.
Oh God, you're gonna drive me nuts. Okay.
And then you can add a little club soda if you want. But then the cool kicker is, and I'm gonna make these today or tomorrow. You make ice cubes with fresh rosemary and whole cranberries in them, so they look really cool. And then also as they melt, you get like the rosemary scent coming through.
You are one well-rounded individual. I would like to say that. I love you. Okay, next.
What is your favorite Christmas book?
There's no such thing.
A Christmas Carol, maybe?
Well, okay, first of all,
the Bible.
Oh God!
If you're a real
just
Christian,
throw me under the bus there.
The Christmas Pig.
Oh, that was a terrible book.
We didn't even finish it.
No, it was about like
it got so depressing.
It got very depressing. It was like J.R.R. Tolkien's Christmas book or something like that, right?
No. Who's the lady who wrote Harry Potter?
It's not J.R.R. Tolkien?
No.
Who's that?
J.K. Rowling.
Oh, same. Like, you can see how I would.
It's funny because one of the books that was in my running is a J.R.R. Tolkien book where he writes letters from Santa to his children. And they're very funny because it's like about the polar bears getting in fights with the elves. And
that's cute. No, I don't have a favorite Christmas book. I don't know if you're noticing a pattern, but 2 years ago I was in selling a course mode, and this year I'm in selling a course mode. So I think I'm reading 4 books, one on taxes, one on profitability, one on systems, and then Michael Perry's book because I love Friends. So no time for a Christmas
Matthew
book.
Perry.
Gosh, I'm on fire today.
Michael Perry is a local author in Wisconsin who's written several great books.
Yeah.
Well, one that you might want to consider is Preparing for Christmas by Richard Rohr. It's just daily little meditations, and they encourage you to read Bible verses, and then he has a cool take on it.
Okay. Is it in the house?
Yep.
Okay. Put it on my desk.
And if you want to laugh, you could read Holidays on Ice by David Sedaris.
Oh, he's hilarious.
He's very funny. Okay. Favorite Christmas snack?
What? If you can't tell, Kirby prepared these questions. Yours is going to be Braunschweiger, isn't it?
No.
It's not. What is your favorite Christmas snack?
Captain Crunch Christmas Crunch. It is the single greatest cereal in the history of the world, and they did not sell it at the supermarkets in our town. Don't worry, I checked them all. They did not sell it this year, so I ordered it on Amazon.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everyone makes fun of me for it, but then as soon as it comes out, everyone wants a bowl.
Do you remember the commercial for Oops All Berries?
Vaguely, like they pulled the wrong switch or
Yeah.
something.
Oops, all berries. I don't remember if they had a Christmas crunch one. I think I know this is like kind of cheating, but I think just like a meat and cheese board.
I think
I
that's fair. It's
just
more
like
around the holidays.
a charcuterie board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for some reason I think of like shrimp and cocktail sauce seems to come out a lot more around Christmas too,
Definitely
which I
not my
enjoy.
favorite, but yeah.
Favorite Christmas tradition?
You go first.
I think one that has just stayed around the longest and I get the most long-standing is the going and cutting down our own Christmas tree and decorating it with the girls. And this year we got to do it double time because we have the big cabin Christmas tree too.
I am going to say our seafood dinner that we do. So we used to do it on the 23rd, like basically either the 23rd or the 24th, whatever night our family, just our family of 4, is at home. We make a very fancy seafood dinner.
And it wasn't actually, we weren't actually trying to do the Feast of Seven Fishes, right?
No, but we're going to this year.
Yeah.
Feast of Seven Fishes. Is that an Italian thing? Is that what we looked at? Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know how we're going to incorporate 7 fishes. Fishes? Fishes? 7 fishes? But wait, isn't like a clam something else?
Yeah, I think you can, mollusk or whatever, but I think you can include it.
I think so, because when I looked up some stuff, a lot of it was like scallops and stuff. And so they're definitely not being specific about classifying fish. But anyways, and now we know Charlie does not have a food allergy. That's actually how we thought that our oldest might have an allergy to.
Yeah, her throat got itchy when she was eating crab or lobster. And
we're like, you should stop eating that.
So got her tested. Just dust is her only allergy.
Yeah. Would you like to put her on Claritin? No, I'm good. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks, bro.
You. All right.
What's yours? Oh, you said it. Sorry, I was waiting for food. I got in like tradition, food, and then I was like, no, tell me about your favorite food. Not snack, but we got it.
We got it.
Okay, so now we are on to the episode.
Yep. You want to do a quick prayer?
Yes, I would love to.
All right. Dear God, thank you again for bringing us together and for this time.
Oh, wait. Can we talk about last night? I'm sorry, but you started praying to God, and then it made me feel bad about our church date night. I think we need to talk about it.
Hopefully no one from church is listening.
Well, it's okay.
It's okay. This is an honest conversation. We're not going to be mean about it.
So Kirby and I had our like meeting of what we want for our life next year, what we want to draw in, where are we going to focus, where are we going to put guardrails up so I don't get all like squirreled. And one of the things I said for our marriage is that I wanted us to deepen our spiritual connection with each other and God. Mm-hmm. And we just live in a town where there's not a lot of options for churches. And I like our church because I'm very connected with like new day Christian music. Like that is how I feel like the Holy Spirit moving through me is through music. And so I love that, and we can't find that elsewhere. But like sometimes I just really feel like an outsider. So anyway, so they do these monthly events that we've been seeing. They're on Monday nights. I've never gone to one because I don't know, I'm lazy.
Monday's your hardest day.
And so I told Kirby that they had this Christmas one, and I wanted us to go. And like a week ago, I set up a babysitter. And last night, we're literally both in sweatpants at 6:15. Watching The Grinch with our kids, and coming up the door, Kirby's like, did you get a babysitter tonight? I'm like, shit, we have to go to church.
So we're quickly taking off our sweatpants, putting on
not in the
normal
living
people
room,
clothes.
like
not in front of our
not in front of the babysitter.
To get to church. So we rush
and I'm thinking
there.
It's going to be like loud Christian Christmas music with like
and I guess if I had
band.
An expectation in my mind, I thought it was going to be like quiet music and reflection with like candlelight, but like still just like
dimmed lights.
Yeah, sit here, enjoy. Let us remind you of the season. Yeah,
not what it was.
No, it was. I mean, it was.
It was for a certain group.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
In its own right. Yeah,
we weren't.
There was like scripture reading, then walking around the building and praying for the members of the church and the different parts of the church and praying for the weather, which
Praying over the invitations.
Yep, making
We're
hopefully
doing a
that there's a
walkabout.
good enough turnout for the Christmas services. And then we did do candlelight
I liked that.
prayer part that I liked.
Yep.
But yeah, it was definitely not what I was expecting. I did find some peace in that there was like a 15-minute section where we're supposed to be walking around, and I sat in a chair in the back and did like a loving kindness meditation, which I found really helpful.
I
But
just feel like I don't fit in anywhere.
that's fine. Jesus didn't fit in.
Oh, I know.
Honestly,
know.
like that's one of my biggest problem with all churches is that Jesus spent his entire life railing against formalized rule-based religion. So,
Wow. Anyways, Brunswicks are like 0 for 2 on date nights.
I'll plan the next one.
Please do. You 9? Are you going to actually do it though?
Sure.
Okay. We're going to hold them accountable.
Sure means yes.
Okay. Now you can pray. Now
All right.
that I have confessed my sins publicly, that I'm an cynical asshole Christian. I'm not judging them.
Dear God,
just wanted to
sorry
be
about
clear.
her.
Yeah.
Sorry
I wasn't
for the
judging them.
interruption.
I just feel like there's something wrong with me because I'm like, ooh, I'm not like that. All right, go ahead. I
Sure.
promise. Yep. Eyes closed.
Dear God, thank you for bringing us together again, and thank you for this time of season. Help us to remember the spirit and the nature of your Son and why we're celebrating him. What his message was. It's let us not be too focused on the trappings and issues of the season, and not even if we're thinking about you and Jesus, be thinking about just the little baby Jesus, but the message that made Jesus Jesus. Help us to connect with each other. Help us to find you anywhere and everywhere. Help us to treat the poor and the downtrodden and the outcast the same, and if not better, than all the people that is easy to do. So help us to focus on you this season and focus on each other. In your name we pray.
Amen. And last night when they said baby Jesus, did Will Ferrell 8 pounds, 7 ounces go through your head? Okay. I snickered and I tried making eye contact with you and you were like serious mode. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm broken.
All right. So here is last year's episode.
2 years ago.
2 years ago's episode on our 5 favorite Christmas movies.
And we debate. And I'd also love to hear, because I'm not going to listen to it. Do you think Kirby and I have better banter now or back then? How are we doing as a marriage? Should we get a divorce?
We'll put up a Twitter poll and we'll abide by the results.
All right. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Hi, friends. I wanted to take a quick break from the episode to make sure you all know about the cool stuff we have happening over on Patreon. This is a platform where I can offer you extra content, behind the scenes interviews, quick trainings, and exclusive trainings answering your exact question live, back to back with me. It's a way for me to more directly interact with you and post some fun things that would never be in the normal weekly episodes. To check out what we're doing and to sign up, click the link in the show notes. Hey, She Slayers, so many of you connect with my story as a chiropractor because I started all wrong. Years into practice, I had to completely turn it around from being an insurance and pain-based model to a thriving, subluxation-based cash practice. I have a lot of ways that happened, but I am not exaggerating when I say the number one thing I changed was adding CLA's Insight scanning technology. The Insight helped grow our practice from 300 people a week to over 500 a week in the course of 1 year, purely by showing objective findings and providing reports to patients. So many docs I talk to struggle to communicate the why behind a care plan when the patient's pain goes away in a few visits. They struggle to keep patients after insurance stops paying. They don't know how to explain why a kid benefits from chiropractic care, even though they have no symptoms. They don't do progress exams because what am I going to do to show the patient progress? I am telling you, every single thing I just said, my answer to the doc is, are you using Insight scanning technology in your clinic yet? Because it's the solution to all of those issues. If you have questions, the staff at CLA is absolutely incredible and will help answer those questions and help implement this big change into your practice. Click the link below in the show notes as She Slays listeners Get preferred pricing and hundreds of dollars off their purchase. Hey, She Slayers. When I first started practice, I thought I needed to dress a certain way for patients to trust me, and I spent hours trying to design communication and marketing materials that worked. After 12 years of practice, here's a couple things I've learned. 1, I don't have to wear dress pants and button-ups for a patient to take me seriously. And 2, why recreate the wheel when a design professional has already done all the work for me? Well Aligned offers solutions in both of these categories. They have the coolest and most comfy chiropractic shirts that will showcase your personality, as well as beautifully designed communication and marketing tools to help drive new patients, get more referrals, and gain better retention in your practice. From the best chiropractic apparel to modern patient education materials, Well Aligned has you covered. All She Slayers get 10% off plus free shipping on orders of $75 or more with promo code SheSlays. Visit www.wellaligned.com to save. So let's debate.
Top 5 Christmas movies. First, should we talk about things that we don't like so people aren't like waiting for their favorite one? Because I feel like there's some stuff one of the things I hate is when people go like, what's the best Christmas movie of all time? And then someone goes, Die Hard. Go F you. Yeah. Not a Christmas movie. Just because it takes place during Christmas or there's like a tiny little element. Christmas is not the focus of the movie.
Like released during Christmas.
Yeah. Like that, Gremlins, no.
Doesn't count.
Like the movie's not about Christmas.
Right.
Like, so I just get mad. Like, I'm going to get
mad. I know. Like, you're on a soapbox.
The other thing that I don't do, I know personally other people do but I don't do like the scary Christmas movie, like Krampus. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Like Adam Scott, I think is in it.
No.
But I want to feel good during Christmas. So those aren't gonna.
Well, you know what's hard is so Love Actually didn't make it onto my list or The Holidays, but The Holiday.
Oh, The Holiday? Yeah.
Yeah, with Cameron Diaz.
Yep.
But I do really like those. And there is some adultery and there's
That's why they didn't make my list, because I like complicated.
Again, they didn't make my list.
Yeah.
We haven't watched that.
I like complicated movies normally, and I like a good storyline, but when it's Christmas time, I don't like to be confronted with really difficult emotions or sadness.
I mean, you do know that Tiny Tim
I think
dies in...
He does or he doesn't, depending on Scrooge's actions.
I know.
Well, I mean, I guess that's heavy. Some of my ones...
And you know that, some people try and murder an 8-year-old in Home Alone. So, where your gray line is...
Yeah, I think it's that issue of... I think I don't like adultery in my Christmas movies.
Okay. That's fair.
That's probably my statement.
Is fair.
That's the pull quote from this episode.
I definitely don't like adultery in my Christmas. Okay, so I'll go first with number 5. Or did you have any more qualifiers?
No, let's start with number 5.
Okay, so my number 5 is The Christmas Chronicles.
It also made my list.
But not number 5?
Not number 5.
Oh, you like it more than me. I'm interested. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so who are the people in that?
So it is Kurt Russell and some kids.
Yeah, we don't need to but yeah, it's the Kurt Russell and his wife. Who's his wife?
Goldie Hawn.
Goldie Hawn, thank you. If you haven't seen it, it's great. And they came out with a second one. So
I didn't love the second one.
I thought the second one, no sequels actually made my top list. And you don't need to share, but yeah. I thought it was great though. I would definitely watch it again next year, but yeah.
And the girls like it. They call it the one where Santa goes to jail.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a really fun. It's a fun take on Santa Claus. That's him as not.
I think I like Goldie Hawn's. I think that might be my favorite part of it is that Goldie Hawn is, and I did like this in the second one.
You gotta give a spoiler thing too, though, if people haven't watched it.
Well, oh my gosh, it's a Christmas movie.
All right, fine.
Spoiler alert. Santa Claus has a wife. So I did like a lot in the second one that they continued Goldie Hawn's character, and she was not this fat, frumpy woman who just makes cookies. She was healthy and opinionated, and I liked it.
Yeah.
I like myself a healthy, opinionated woman.
And the elves in that movie are great.
You and the kids like
They
that
are
impersonation of the
hilarious.
elves. They're funny.
They're like little Norwegian.
It's not how
funny
I
little-
think of elves.
It's not how I think of elves necessarily either, but it's funny.
We'll talk about that because my movie gets okay. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is actually not a full-length movie, but like a 25-minute adaptation for TV thing. Mickey's version of the Christmas Carol. Like
you
the
are
Disney
such
one.
an old soul. I love you so much.
I loved it as a kid. I like that it's simple enough and not so scary, like as the Jim Carrey one.
We watched that while our kids were like having quiet time the other day away from us because you can't watch the.
You can't watch that with a kid.
Who did they make
Robert
that movie
Zemeckis or whatever is who made it. But yeah, I think at least 3 times during the movie, we looked at each other and started laughing and went, again, who is this for? It is terrifying. Like the kids under the robe.
Oh
like,
God,
the super scary like skin details on people with like acne and pox, and it's a bit extra.
It's extra, but that's not your number 5. You like Mickey.
I like the Mickey one, and I like the
Christmas Carol, so the one with Tiny Tim.
Yep.
Tiny Tim potentially dies,
but he
doesn't. But for a moment, you thought he
loves him.
Okay. Number 4.
My number 4.
Yeah, go ahead.
My number 4 is Elf.
Elf is my number 2.
Oh, okay. It's just
and
so
it
good.
almost fought out for number 1. To be honest, like I go back and forth, but Elf. And we were watching the Christmas movies that made us.
Yeah, on Netflix. That's fun. It's definitely worth a watch. Super fun and interesting to hear the different ways that movie almost didn't get made. And
Will Ferrell, like they didn't like that they had chosen Will Ferrell. And like this movie, I don't want to say launched Will Ferrell, like SNL, but like it made Will Ferrell like a highly considered actor. Yeah.
I think, what did they say? Originally, they didn't, when they said they got Will Ferrell to do it, the studio wasn't happy. And who were they originally going to have do it that like the writer said like, nope, I'll wait.
I don't remember.
I think they had someone else attached to it originally, but it's so funny to think of anyone other than him. I mean, he's just so perfect.
Yeah. So that is how I picture elves is from Elf, not Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
But
he's a human dressed as an elf.
Correct. I'm saying how the elves are when they're at
the North Pole. Yep.
Is how I think elves are. So
cool.
There we go.
I was going to make a forced perspective joke, but I figured it wasn't going to land because that's how they shot those to make them look smaller. Like they were all in the same room. Yeah. They were just farther back. But.
Okay. I did. Cool. I liked the magic of thinking that they found elves, but now you just ruined the.
Sorry about that.
Okay. By the way, 8 pounds, 6 ounces is
so close.
How heavy baby Jesus was predicted in Talladega Nights. My number 4 is National Lampoons.
That one didn't make my list. I do love it though.
Would it like if you had a 6th spot? Would it like have been 6 or like only in the top 10?
Definitely top 10. I'm trying to think of. I didn't make a full top 10, but it would have been definitely in the running for 6 because we watch it every year. I always remember watching it every year.
We watched it with our kids, which, we only have to fast forward through that one like weird naked lady scene. We probably should fast forward through the weird like him saying his wife is dead scene, buying lingerie from the woman. Yep, that's a big part of it. There's just some stuff that you don't realize too how much stuff goes over their head for now. Yeah. Like I think the next couple of years are going to be when Charlie starts to pick up on things. I think it's going to be a lot longer. You think so? Yeah, I really do. Very clever. But. Yeah. Well, anyways, that's my 4. And yeah, I like that movie. That's a good one. Very quotable. And I like that it can spawn theme parties too. We did a theme party a couple years ago. Yeah, that was nice. Mm-hmm. Okay. My number 3? Yep. The Santa Claus 1. That is... Did that not make your list either? None of the Santa Clauses. What the H is on your list? Well, So I've got Mickey's Christmas Carol, I've got Elf, and number 3 was Christmas Chronicles. Okay, all right. I mean, the Mickey one... Actually, you know what? Santa Claus probably would have been my 6. I like that better than the National Lampoons. So good.
Tim Allen's just great.
In the first one. Like, now, I do think that they do a great second and third.
Yep.
But I don't even know.
I like elements of two. Two's the one where he's getting married, right?
Right.
The toss across joke is still so great.
Yep, it is. There's some good. The third one, like with anything. The second one was better than the third. But
but the first one is really good.
I get frustrated in the third one because it's the one where her parents come up and they're just so rude. Like, it is literally Christmas Eve day and they're getting mad at him because he's like too busy to decorate the tree. First of all, who are these people who decorate their tree on Christmas Eve?
Yeah.
Like, I hate when movies
Santa
do that.
and you're decorating. Yeah, that didn't make any sense. And well, I mean, in the parents' defense, they think he's just a factory owner of a toy shop who's like neglecting his pregnant wife on her almost near a due date on Christmas. But if you're the owner of a toy shop,
yeah.
Or of a factory, I guess.
So anyway, so I would also like to say that is a soapbox of mine that I do not like when they pretend, or like when they show a family decorating the Christmas tree, like on Christmas Eve. Like, what are you doing? You missed out on so much joy. You should decorate that tree in November.
Yeah, we get our tree like early mid-November.
Yeah, you would get it in October.
If I could. Of course I would. You know what's a weird thing with the Santa Claus? So think about this. I read about this a long time ago and I haven't thought about it until this moment. So Santa Claus falls off the roof.
Yes.
And by the time Tim Allen gets to the North Pole, like they're already like ready for him and explaining to him that he's the Santa Claus. But in the Santa Claus 2, there's a clause that says you have to be married to be Santa Claus. So let's assume that the Santa in Santa 1 had a wife. He died and these elves shipped her off by the time the new guy flew home.
I never thought about that. What happened to Mrs. Claus? That's a really interesting point. Bye, bitch.
You got to get out.
See, and this Goldie Hawn would never have allowed that.
Never.
She would have been like, no, I am Santa now.
Yeah. Kind of like a Noel twist, which I do like that movie a lot, but it's not good. Top 5 worthy.
Yeah. I wouldn't even say it's top 10, but like,
yeah, I don't think
I haven't watched it, but like, I would have watched it if you guys hadn't watched it without me. So, All right. Are you to your number 3?
My 3 was Christmas Chronicles. Yes. So my number 2, It's a Wonderful Life.
I mean, I'm glad it's on your list because I think we would get hate mail if it wasn't on one of our lists. But
it's good.
It's fine.
It's a beautiful story.
Okay, actually, is it really that good? Because didn't it not? I'm speaking out of my butt a little bit here, so hopefully,
you're right.
Like the first time they released it, it didn't do well. Didn't become famous until they like.
No, from what I remember, it got played all the time because it was easy to get the rights to it because it had failed. So like some syndication deal made it super cheap to air, so it aired all the time.
Right.
And then people just got used to it because it was always playing. But I mean, Jimmy Stewart's a classic actor. It's a great story. I love it. It's fun though.
It could be edited.
The dancing scene with the pool opening up and Caesar's petals.
I think I'm seeing a trend, and I think I know what your number 1 is. And okay. Anyways, yeah, it's fine. I save it. It's my stepdad's favorite movie, so I'm sure we'll watch it on Christmas Eve. You know what didn't I know this is not your number 1 and didn't make my list either is
A Christmas Story.
A Christmas Story.
I never got super into that. I like it. It's fine. I know people who like literally watch it on repeat on Christmas. I just never was that person.
I think I've never sat down and watched it to beginning to end because they play it on repeat. So on Christmas Day, I'll sit down and be like, oh, Christmas Story. And I'll watch it, but knowing that, like, then we'll go sledding or something. I'll be like, oh, I can just watch the rest of this later, but I never, like,
yep.
So I don't know. I would actually like to sit down and watch it from beginning to end because I don't think I've ever done it. I'm sure there are tons of parts of that, and it's a good movie. It should be in our top 10, but it's not.
Just not my style. Oh, you know what's terrible? Remember when
was it ABC was trying to do like those live TV shows,
Mm-hmm.
and they tried to do that one. That was weird.
Yeah. All
All
of them
those
were
were
weird.
weird. The Peter Pan one was weird. What else
Yeah.
did-
But we're not like theater people.
Yeah, no, they felt like
Like I
weirdly staged
like
plays.
theater sometimes when I'm at the theater,
Mhm.
but not all the time. And so when you take theater and put it on TV, I'm just like, oh, I'm bored when I'm at the theater. So now that you put it,
Well, you should take these cameras that you have and
turn this into a movie.
turn this into a movie with editing and setting up different scenes.
Okay. Speaking of which, number 2 for me is Elf.
Come.
And we saw Elf the play, which was boring and bad.
I did not like it nearly as much, and I think
because it wasn't Will Ferrell.
yeah, it really suffered from comparison of like when you're expecting the kind of elf Will Ferrell is and the funniness that he brings, and then it's just like some little guy jumping around who's not Will Ferrell.
Yep. So 2 was Elf, but that was a close call for me.
What is your number 1?
Do you want to guess?
What are we going through already?
Are you even paying attention?
I feel like it's going to be obvious as soon as you say it.
Well, I'll guess yours then, and give you time to actually get to know me. So yours is A White Christmas,
yeah, of course it is.
which we also saw play. I liked the play, actually, of A White Christmas. I
Yeah.
would do that again.
I think it lends itself better to a play because it's naturally like it is a musical, and
So, okay, so A White Christmas, here's the deal. I don't get it. So these guys are like
big time producers.
big time producers, but there's a military aspect happening.
Have you ever watched the movie?
Most of the time I'm on Instagram while you're watching it.
Okay, so it starts with they're actually in World War II. They're like on the front lines, but it's Christmas Eve, so they're doing like a show for their troop. Within their troop is Bing Crosby's character, who is like a famous person before.
In
like,
the show.
yeah.
Or in the movie. He's famous.
He's already
He goes
like
to World War
known.
II.
Goes to World War II, meets his partner, who is played by Danny Kaye. I always forget his name. I had to write it down. And they like are just doing this show within their troop. They get attacked. Danny Kaye saves Bing Crosby's life. Then when they get back after the
why
war,
do they need all that?
it's a great. Well, they needed to
just
show
kind
like
of like
how they got established, introduce the
kind of
general.
like It's a Wonderful Life. It's like, I mean, you could just edit that. Like, okay. So, anyways, they're friends.
Yep. So they get back from the war. They start working together. They become big producers. That's how they meet the girls. Is they're checking out a show for.
Sister.
See, you love it. It's a great movie. There's some great musical numbers. There's some really good dancing. There's the creepy spider lady.
Okay, the creepy spider lady, though. Yeah.
Yeah, that is weird.
Her legs are. I mean, she invented the lack of thigh gap.
Yeah. So Vera Ellen is her name. I looked it up. Yeah. It's the weirdest body
well, I think
ever.
they do talk about that, like she had body
Yeah.
issues. So I
The
don't want
thing-
to shame her for
No,
being skinny.
the thing
because,
I
like,
don't
think she has some
underst-
mental health stuff.
Yeah.
But she also might be a professional dancer. And then it's like, well, shoot.
Well, that's what I didn't understand is how her legs could be so small, but like still be able to
Strong.
dance like that. Like it doesn't seem possible. It looks like you can see her bones and there's no muscle there,
Yeah.
but then like she can do all of that, which is just nuts.
Anyway, so they go to a resort and the resort is going to close down or something. COVID happened. I don't know.
Yep, COVID. It's a story about COVID. So they go to the resort, which they find out is run by their old general, and it's going to go broke.
That's why they care so much about the resort, is because he's general.
Yep. And he has
Oh.
nothing to do because he even said he wanted to re-enlist, but like there's no place for an old guy in the army, and that's the ending song. And, you know, some of the ending songs about like there's no place for a general.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful story. You should watch it sometime.
But then they get all these people to come for the show.
Yep.
Okay.
So they call up their old army buddies, or they go on TV and like they call all the people who were like in their regiment or whatever, and everyone goes up there to
Okay.
like save them and pay respect to the general. And then in the end, it ends up snowing too, so it works out for everyone.
Okay. That's good. I'm disappointed Home Alone didn't make it into your top 5.
I'm gonna guess that's your number
What
one.
kind of monster are you? Like, I'm seriously like, what?
I really like Home Alone. It's definitely top 10. So now we know like what's in my like 6 through 10 are
Right.
involve
So
Santa
anyways,
Claus.
Home
National.
Alone, if you knew me, it is number 1.
I really like it. It's just not as much as these.
Charlie didn't like it for the longest time because it's slapstick comedy.
And yeah, she doesn't like people getting hurt.
She was okay with it this year, though.
Yeah, she was all right. She also like cringes or like doesn't like whole sections of America's Funniest Home Videos because like, which I don't like either when people are actually, when you're like
As
seeing
a
it, you're like,
director,
that
it's
guy had to go to the hospital. I hope
Yeah.
they win $10,000 to like cover that.
Yeah, I think one of the funniest parts of Home Alone is the cops just like, you left your kid at home. Like, there's a crazy lady. Like, they don't look into it. Like, yeah, there's a lot of really funny. Oh, and that the guys were going to murder the child.
Yeah, they were about to like murder the child. And when the old guy hits him with a shovel, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
If you haven't watched this movie from 1992 or whatever.
Yeah, I really like that aspect of the movie. Where another
You're
weird
saying
part of the movie.
the old guy?
The old guy. Another weird part of the movie is that on Christmas Eve at 8 p.m., because it's late because he runs home to quick heat up mac and cheese and like set all the traps. So it's like 7 or 8 p.m.
I mean, it gets dark. It's based in Chicago, so it's dark at 4:45 in late
so
December
let's say
in Chicago.
It's 5 p.m.
Okay.
on Christmas Eve. The kids are in full robes, so they're doing like a dress rehearsal at 5 p.m. on Christmas Eve for their Christmas Day show the next day, and nobody's there watching it. All the parents are like gone.
Yeah, there's like 8 people in the pews.
Yeah, so he's there. But I do really like that moment. I like the musical aspect of that moment.
Yeah.
And
the whole score for the music of that movie is really good.
Yes. And yeah, I just think that it's a really nice moment where he realizes that, he's an old guy, but he's not scary. Now, what they did in number 2 with the SNL skit, oh my God. Anyways, in number 2 with the homeless
the bird lady.
I'm not a fan of the bird lady quite as much.
Yeah, that was a bit weird. Well, it's funny, like when you watch them close together, like how many of like they were just like, let's take the exact formula for one and just be like boom, 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 boom.
Gosh. Yeah. So there we go. There we have it. Our top 5 Christmas movies.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So I hope that you guys had a wonderful Christmas. And
oh wait, we got to do like a speed round of
speed
like
round?
little
What the
extras. I want to know. So, what's your favorite rendition of the Grinch?
The new cartoon one.
This one, me too. Favorite version of A Christmas Carol. I looked up. There are at least 21 versions of Christmas Carol. So like, there's the famous.
We know yours is the Mickey one.
Yeah, the Mickey one is great. The Robert Zemeckis, Jim Carrey one. There's Muppets. There's the Patrick Stewart, like classic one. I think they counted Scrooged, the Bill Murray like adaptation. And then there's just like a bunch of different cartoon and old ones from like even as early as like the 30s. So what's your favorite?
I don't know. I guess Mickey.
You just don't F with Christmas Carol?
No, I mean, I'm glad we watched the Jim Carrey one, but it bothers me how creepy it is. So I guess I'd say Mickey.
It's really creepy. I don't think the girls have even seen the Muppet one, and I haven't seen that in years.
That's because it's annoying.
Oh, I think it's funny.
Why is it in your top 10?
You were just really mad that I didn't pick Home Alone.
I mean, a little.
I think, who was it? Family Guy made fun of Home Alone, of like a version of Home Alone with competent robbers. And they like walk inside and he like steps on a car and doesn't fall down because you wouldn't fall down if you stepped on a car. And he goes like, hey, Mar, watch out. There's cars on the floor there. Yeah. And the other guy's like, yeah, the doorknob was hot, but I just let go of it. I didn't hold on to it.
I didn't hold on for it for 10 seconds. So, okay.
Favorite Miracle on 34th Street, old one or newer one?
Wait.
There's like an old classic one.
And by newer one, do you mean the one with the girl from Matilda?
Yes.
Okay, well, definitely the newer one.
Okay, and then follow-up question.
How old is that?
Is the star of that, is the male lead of that Dermot Mulroney or Dylan McDermott?
Oh, Dylan McDermott.
You're right.
Yes.
Good job.
Mulrooney is in My Best Friend's Wedding, right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. What's your favorite?
It's funny because I think the newer one is cheesier, but I do like the newer one too. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just like when I watched it first or whatever, but like I'm connected to that movie more.
Yeah, I like it. Is that the last year's speed round?
That's all I got.
All right. Now can I say goodbye to people?
Sure.
This is the last episode of 2020.
Yep.
I'm sure by next episode, everything's going to be different.
Everything's going to turn around. It's going to be totally fine.
Yep. Okay, everyone. Thank you. Honestly, truly thank you for the support of this podcast. I don't have a prepared speech because I didn't even realize like that this was the last episode, but like, thank you to everyone who listens, and thank you to everyone who shares, and everyone who sends sweet messages and funny DMs. Like, we appreciate you a ton, because I would have, if this wasn't successful, like if we didn't get the amount of listeners, I would have quit this a long time ago. Next. That's the 7 in me. All right. Well, so, thanks for making it successful.
What a beautiful holiday sentiment. Keep validating me, otherwise I'll quit.
Okay, well, you say something nice.
I think you were really good where you were, of like, thank you for listening. This has meant a lot. The participation and hearing from people that the work that you're doing and that we're doing is helpful to them is really touching and makes it all worthwhile. And I would love to hear people's favorite Christmas movies too.
Oh, yeah.
And why they think we're wrong, or if they knew other interesting things about the movies we picked. I always like reading that stuff.
Yeah. Alrighty.
So send us a message.
All right. Well, Merry 2020 and Merry Christmas, and see you next year.
Merry Christmas.